Have you heard that the banks are buying massive amounts of XRP? Well, unfortunately, that's some misinformation. Quite frankly, it's an absolute lie. Now, I know that contradicts a lot of what you may have heard, and you may honestly believe that I'm spreading FUD and I'm trying to tell you a lie. Well, I challenge anyone to prove me wrong with some documented information because this entire video comes straight from the source, whether it be David, like the report we're going to go over, David Schwartz, Brad, and maybe his tweets, or Ripple's website, or news releases, but everything that I talk about has been verified and can be verified. And I challenge you guys to call out whoever contradicts or disagrees with what I've said. Prove me wrong. Better yet, have them invite me on their show if they're an influencer, and we'll get to the bottom of this misinformation. Now, my guess is they're not going to want anything to do with going live with someone so informed and who has done their research like me, because most of these people that have been pumping these tokens are pumping XRP with all this crazy hype. They're biased and they have an agenda, and that agenda is to pump their bags, pump their channel, and tell you what you want to hear. And to be worse, it gives them liquidity to know that when XRP does start to pump, they might be able to ride it longer because people are not going to sell because they know the price points of all the hype where people think that it's going to go to 100, 1,000, or 10,000, a million, whatever crazy number. So, guys, that's my challenge to you. But here's the cool thing. If you watch this video, which I think is by far the most important, most informative Ripple XRP video that I've created, that you might find anywhere, quite frankly, is you're going to be so well informed with factual information, you'll be able to call out the BS when you hear it. And then you'll have the information you need to make an informed decision of how to stack your XRP bags or how to allocate your portfolio money. Because that's what it's all about, guys. You can't make good financial decisions on hope and hype. You got to look at the big picture and get all the information, good, bad, or ugly. Now, the cool thing about this video is we're going to dive into how Ripple uses the escrow account. And it is the engine of Ripple. I've studied the business model, and it's an absolute thing of beauty. It's literally art, in my opinion. Now, I can't speak too highly about Ripple. I really can't. I think it is one of the best business models, if not the best business model I've ever seen. And it's going to be a powerhouse. That being said, if you're an accredited investor, go take a look at that IPO, because when it goes public, I think it might set a record on Wall Street for whatever that's worth. And none of this is being negative or on Ripple or XRP. It is what it is. It's just data and information. So hopefully everyone appreciates it. Before we get into it, I just need to remind you, I'm Uncle Ray with the Crypto Bellwether. I don't always tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear to make an informed decision. And you need to hear this, guys. And we're also going to go over the Q4 report, and that is a wealth of information, and it verifies a lot of what I'm going to share with you guys. So stay with me for that as well. Now, let's get into the report. Now, before we can understand the relationship between Ripple and the escrow account, we have to understand the tokenomics. So we kind of got to go back to the beginning. And in the beginning of the launch, Ripple, the founders, the team, and the early investors held back 98% of all the tokens. Well, why is that important? Well, that gives you the history of how centralized Ripple really is. And I want everyone to realize and understand Ripple is a profit-making corporation. That's why they created the XRP token. And they do not hide the fact of how they use XRP. They make profits, and I've quoted David more than once. They make their profit from the sales of XRP. That's sales to me and you. And they also make a huge amount of cash flow through their ODL. And it even gets better and better. I don't have all the ways they make money or how their fees are structured, but guys, it is a beautiful thing to understand. Now, it may not take you where you want as far as how you look at XRP, because there's definitely not a one-to-one correlation of what's good for Ripple and what's good for XRP. Actually, there are many times that what's good for XRP or what's good for Ripple is not good for XRP. Now, that being said, there's never a time that something's good for XRP and not good for Ripple. Now, at the start of the launch, like I said, they held back 98% of the token supply. Now, they've been selling that supply for like 9 years from the beginning, ever how long that's been. And they are right now at about 50% of the supply. Technically, I think it just broke under 50%, and everyone made a big deal about how that made Ripple XRP decentralized. Well, guys, I'm not going to get into that debate because that's not what this video is about. However, if Ripple went out of business tomorrow, or if they decide to dump their tokens 1 billion every month, well, XRP will not look the same and not be in this. We wouldn't be making videos, right? It is decentral. It's very centralized in that aspect. The ledger itself is centralized or decentralized. So I don't want to debate that. Anyway, let's get back on track. Now, every month, Ripple has the option to add 1 billion tokens into circulation by selling onto the market. Now, why don't they sell the 1 billion tokens every month? Again, I've heard people hype that as a positive, and they've said statements like, see, that just shows how bullish Ripple is on XRP. They could go ahead and sell, but they don't want to. Well, that's because they haven't understood or researched how Ripple's business model works. They don't sell those tokens because they make more money by putting them back in the rotation and extending the time frame of all that supply being on the market. And then it extends the life of the ODL, of the escrow that they use for ODL. And they are no way, shape, or form close to needing to buy XRP in the open market because of their ODL supply. Now, I'm not going to get into that conversation either, but I did a report months ago, long story short, at the current amount of supply that Ripple has in escrow to use for ODL. If Ripple was at $2, Ripple could process all the money in the world that's in circulation, not only every day, but every hour, easily. That's how much supply is out there, guys, to put that in context. So for the people that think that the demand is going to outrun their supply, at best, that's not even a real conversation for 15, 20 years, period. Even if they set records of growth every single day. I know there's some misinformation about how the banking reset happens and then the whole world's going to go running into having to use the XRP rails and the Ripple rails and the XRP token. Well, guys, there's no reset coming. It's a slow thing. We're already in the beginning stage of the reset happening. It's going to take a while, but it's not flipping a switch. It's going to take a while to pan out, many years. So even if XRP, for instance, can get to $100, that's going to be like 10 years from now. Do the math. I highly recommend it. Now, let's get back on track of what I was talking about. Okay, so they can sell 1 billion tokens a month, but they choose not to. And over the course of the last couple of years, roughly, they've been selling 300 million tokens. Put that in context, guys. That 300 million that they have been selling on the market every month for the last couple of years is more supply than Bitcoin and Quant combined for lifetime, fully diluted. So think about that. And what that means is that creates about 24% inflation. And 24% inflation basically means that you have to increase the demand by 24% to keep the token just to justify staying the same. If that was a corporation that was trading the stock value that way, that had that kind of inflation, we'd be calculating how soon they're going to go out of business. But this isn't a stock inflation. This is a crypto inflation. And there is a difference, because in a bull run, stocks even can't handle 24% inflation, but crypto can handle it easy. But in a bear run, in a bear market, it's hard to maintain that kind of sales pressure. So the price is never going to be able to pump any significance in a bear run, and definitely not be able to maintain it. That being said, the same in a bull run. Even though it can pump really hard in a bull run, it just realistically tells me, at least, not financial advice, that it cannot and will not maintain any significant pumps because of the inflation. And that doesn't even take into account that if Ripple decides to sell 1 billion tokens a month, month after month after month, think about it, guys. That's 12 billion tokens they can dump if they choose to. I'm not saying they will, but if they choose to, that's 12 billion tokens they could dump within the next year if there's a bull run, if XRP happened to get to a new high or $10 or whatever. That's a big incentive. And another thing, not to get sidetracked, but you need to understand, when they go public, that's going to be a board of directors, and they're looking to sell those tokens if they don't need them. And they probably aren't going to need them, because in my opinion, which is just a question, why wouldn't they create another token to use as ODL or compete or use side by side with XRP? It makes good business sense. So answer me that. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. Now let's move on. Now, ODL is a thing of beauty. And guys, once you understand what I'm about to share with you, you'll never look at Ripple again the same again. It's fascinating, this setup. And most people, quite frankly, guys, they probably haven't done enough homework to understand this part, and they never will. And that's why they say some of the crazy stuff that they say. They just don't understand it, and they don't understand tokenomics. All they do is go do their research to find bullish bullet points to share with their community, not to get on the hype. Now here's the deal, guys. Let's just say that Bank of America wants to partner with XRP, right? Which we know they have mentioned that they want to do after the court case if Ripple wins. So I'm just going to make up a number, but I'm going to walk you through the process. And like I said, it's a thing of beauty. Ripple sits down with Bank of America, and they have a formula, whatever it is, and they say, look, you're going to need 100 million XRP tokens to keep up with your cash flow and your demand on cross-border payments. So what we're going to do is we're going to source that 100 million tokens from our escrow account. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it out of our escrow. My guess is that they charge them a little, they hit them with some slippage or arbitrage or whatever you want to call that, and then they hit them with a lot of different fees. But what they do is they lease it to them, and they charge them storage cost, and I don't know what other fees, but they put it into a wallet or cold storage or ever how that works, but that is a lease. Now, here's the beautiful thing about that. If Bank of America decides 10 years from now they don't want to be in partnership with Ripple, Ripple gets all that XRP back because it's theirs. It's a lease. Now, bear with me. It gets better. This part is fascinating to me, and it took me a while to really wrap my head around what I was looking at. Now, at the end of the month, Ripple adds up how much they have leased in their ODL. And this is where some of the misinformation comes from. People consider that lease to be a sale. Well, guys, the sale comes from me and you. And that's why I want to go through the Q4 report, because there's a comment in there that clarifies exactly and proves exactly what I'm saying right now. Now, so at the end of the month, for the last couple of months or last couple of years, it's roughly been 300 million tokens. So whatever it is, or whatever they choose, I don't know their exact formula, but let's say it's 300 million. They take that 300 million and they sell it onto the market from me and you. It's all profit because they have that money from the beginning. Now, here's the crazy thing about that, guys. I want you to really wrap your head around this. Imagine selling a house, right? And a third party, which is me and you, pay that house, pay cash for it. So you get that money. And then the person that bought that house still has a mortgage. It's a paid off house from a third party, but they still have to pay the mortgage. And no matter how long they pay that mortgage, it's never that house. And the day they miss that payment, you get the house back. Well, that's what ODL is to Ripple. Think about how profitable that is. So they lease and get all those fees, probably get slippage or arbitrage, like I said, and then they sell that amount to the XRP community and put that on the bottom line because it's all profit. Now, check this out. And this is where it gets into kind of a competition, in my opinion, from Ripple's XRP and the tokens that we all hold. Because if you think about it, guys, there's two different markets for XRP, and they're in competition with each other, in my opinion. Y'all hear me out and let me know what you think in the comment section. But it's important that you understand why the XRP token just sits there. Now, the banks buy XRP from Ripple's escrow account, or they lease it from Ripple's escrow account. But if any other enterprises or a hedge fund or whatever wants to speculate or buy XRP, they don't have to go into the market like they do with most tokens. They go to the market maker. Well, guess who supports the market makers? Ripple. I don't know how they split that commission-wise, partnership, or whatever, but I do know that the market maker is using Ripple's XRP. So again, Ripple is in direct competition with the XRP token holders. There's two different markets. And the worst part, in my opinion, Ripple's Escrow, which is being used, it is in circulation 100%, doesn't get counted in the circulating supply. That's crazy. So guys, no matter what, and I'm trying not to get on my high horse, but the more I dig into it, the more I do my research, and the more I understand it, guys, it's going to be a long, long, long time before the XRP token ever needs to pump from anything that Ripple's doing. The only thing that is going to move that token is flat out speculation, like from the XRP army, and what's literally being built in the ecosystem with the XRP ledger, which there is some volume. But again, when you have a fully diluted market cap or market supply of 100 billion tokens, the XRP ecosystem will have to like 15, 20, 100x as big as even Ethereum's ecosystem is before you would ever need the XRP token to say be around $100. That's the significance of understanding tokenomics. Anyway, guys, let's take a look at the Q4 Q4 report. Now, some of it's really bullish, and I hope you guys are staying with me. And if you have, I do appreciate it. And please share this and hit the like button. Now, here's some notables from the Q4 report. It basically says that the ODL demand has opened corridors in France, Sweden, Africa, and they have went from just 2 or 3 quarters 2 years ago to over 40 avenues around the world for payments. That is explosive growth. Now that begs the question, why didn't the XRP token pump? Because according to Brad himself, he said, look, if we lose the court case, it's just business as usual. We are already basically exploding around the world. And he said that it's that, like Saudi Arabia and all those countries, they're still using ODL and Ripple, and they could care less about the outcome. So again, begs the question, why hasn't the token pumped? Well, it's the tokenomics. Anyway, the next thing, XRP sales by Ripple net of purchases. Now here's that misinformation. It says that there was 226 million versus 310 million the previous quarter. So basically it has went down, but it's still very impressive. And I'm doing this by memory. That 310 million that they sold last quarter was like a record for them. Now, that's some of the misinformation people tell you, and you watch. Now that you're informed, you're going to hear influencers, if they go over this quarterly report, they're going to tell you, look, that 226 million is Ripple selling those tokens in ODL to the banks. And that's a lie. That's them selling it to me and you. They leased it and then sold it to us and put the other 700 million back into the loop, guys, and it extends the time frame of when the market will have full supply. And guys, as the token holder, we want to get to the point where all the supply is out there and no entity, certain entity, can dump on us. That's the future. But guys, that may be literally 25, 50 years from now. Who knows? Now, it also says that how big a deal and how positive it was for the Ethereum virtual machine to be the sidechain for XRP Ledger. And now that can bring DeFi into Uniswap, Aave, and basically the Ethereum community. And guys, for the people that want to say how bad Ethereum is, this is in their quarterly report, how important it is to be EVM compatible for Ripple or anyone else. But guys, no one is trying to connect or worried about building bridges to XRP. There's a few doing it, but every player in crypto, every single one, has to have access to Ethereum's ecosystem. Keep that in mind, guys, when you think about what to invest in. Now, I'm almost done, guys. Bear with me. This is what I really want to show you. I'm getting tired of talking. What I really want to show you is it talks about leasing right here. So, and it clarifies and shows that I'm absolutely correct in my statement. Under leases, it says certain wallets used for XRP sales also provide short-term leases to market makers and participants. This is worth noting given they are often incorrectly interpreted by market participants as sales. XRP associated with leases are ultimately returned to Ripple. That's the way ODL works. It's leased, and the same with the market makers. It's leased. And in Q4, that amount was $57 million. Now, here's another product, for the most part, or service that XRP just added that you need to be aware of, because I've heard this hyped up. The liquidity hub. This is the chart on the screen. This is the way it's laid out. Now, this is another thing of beauty. I'm telling you, Ripple is a fascinating company to dig into, in my opinion. The liquidity hub is basically came from the fact of what we just talked about. Ripple, when they start with a bank of ODL or with market makers, they source that product, that token, that need from their escrow. Well, that got them thinking. Now, they're not going to source this from their escrow, but they started to realize, look, banks don't understand this game. Our major corporations, they don't want to put this in custody. They don't have an understanding. Maybe they don't want to tie up their money. Well, they can go to Ripple, and Ripple will source that for them. Now, I don't totally understand exactly what happens from there. I don't know if they are going to custody that for them from their little money or their bank accounts or their supply. I have no idea. Or if they're going to use a third-party source, or if they just charge them for sourcing it and putting it into cold storage or into a wallet or whatever. But it is another powerful revenue stream for Ripple. Now, anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. I know I've been rambling on, but guys, if you didn't understand what I said, please, go back and forth in this video. It's important. Hopefully I made myself clear. It's really hard to put this much information together and stay with it, but it's all been documented from the source. I'm pretty sure I understand it fully. That being said, if someone thinks that I'm incorrect or spoke incorrect, and we're not talking about nitpicking certain numbers or whatever. The gist of the way everything is laid out and the way it works and the implications of how all that works is what I'm talking about. So if you disagree that the banks, for instance, own XRP, well, hit me with facts, but you can't really disagree with Ripple's own words. If you believe that the market makers aren't in direct competition with the XRP community or Ripple itself, so you got Ripple and the market makers, competing against the XRP token. How can it pump, guys? How can it pump significantly? It can't. It's only going to pump not from the banks using ODL, not from the big whales, which there's not really any whales to speak of. There may be one or two, and that's another amount of misinformation. If you contradict, if you've heard different, prove me wrong on this. When they say whales, and I've seen it in many articles and I've seen it regurgitated over and over, but those whales is just Ripple with its 50 plus wallets, who knows how many, moving money around. And when you hear that, oh, this money got moved to this exchange, guys, that's Ripple or the market makers taking the escrow money and putting it on the exchanges. Again, not buying from the XRP community. Guys, it's going to be a long time before you see XRP pump really hard past $10 period. There's a chance, in my opinion, that it may pump because of just pure speculation and hype after the court case to say $15, but it's going to be very, very brief, in my opinion, because it's not going to have the banks going into the market and buying XRP. That's my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you're going to hate on me, have at it. Hit the like button, hit the unlike button. It doesn't matter. But I would prefer to have a financial educated debate instead of trying to cancel me and telling me I'm stupid or I don't know what I'm talking about or I haven't done my research. It's all laid out, guys. Prove me wrong. Because look, I believe that in the next bull run, especially if Ripple wins this court case, we get regulation, the Fed pivots, woo! That regulation bull run is going to be the biggest, most amazing thing you've ever seen. Now, the reason I hype on this so much is because I believe in a lot of different projects, the ISO 222 compliant tokens. I believe in Matic, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Gala. There are so many opportunities that I don't want people to miss them because they stack nothing but XRP bags. And that's fine. It's your money, guys. I hope you're right. I win either way. But what I hope that you guys understand is just how high XRP can or can't rally. Because my biggest concern for guys, and I say this with love, I really care. That's why I created this channel, so people can be informed. It's your money. Do with it what you will. Don't get me wrong. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I'll be one of those dumping on the XRP community when it takes out its old high. And I'll probably buy and sell and buy and sell and buy and sell 1,000 times over the years, looking to dump on people that are holding out for that $10,000 XRP. If y'all want to hold out, that's fine. I'll buy the crashes and sell the rallies over and over. I say that with love, but guys, you got to understand the game you're playing. And you don't want to hold a big amount of anything. If I learn, number one thing I've learned, no ifs and buts about it in crypto. Take those profits, guys. And I hate it for guys that might think that XRP is going to rally to $1,000, and let's just say it gets to $12, $15 in the next bull run after the court case, and you missed every bit of it. And believe me, if it hits $15, actually don't believe me, it's not financial advice, but if it hits $15, it's going to be a spike. It's going to be a big spike. It may be so big that you witnessed it and didn't catch it because it moved that fast. We're talking a matter of hours, guys, in my opinion. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Please share this if you agree with it. I think it's really important video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit the notification. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Hit the like button and come back and be part of this community. Take care.